Sky Power Radio and TV Services Studios, West Yorkshire, Leeds, Tunsil Mount, of course. Welcome all on board our weekly civic education program. Right, today, Saturday, 4th of the 10th, which is October 2025 at 17:13 UK time. My name is Mustafa Jame at the seat. Assalamu alaikum badingolu ngal kontong mobe dawda anibe wato watito konton droko national bismillah na programo min kasoto jang loko ninyi antemben sida civic education program albadi malo Mustafa Jame member sida programo kunna internet. Assalamu alaikum bokki degul kati ñu leen di nuyu fii ci Sky Power Radio and TV services bunte programme civic education programme semaine bu nekk am te samedi bu nekk ay ko fii ci rajo bi ànd ak seen xarit Mustafa Jame nekkal leen fii ci Jogo ji. Right, like we usually do, come in Dakar, local nini and temben sheet and kana civic education program or some on Sky Power Radio and TV services. A program of me along ko molbe dakota wala ko sainde alhamdulillah ngajeko moiro kake kula feedback min ngasura kumata back. Thank you all for your feedback and response, comments and contributions more coming back. It is much appreciated. Tonight as well, Bifanam, we will keep an eye on the comment box, like Molmin Baby Young. If you have a comment, you can drop it on the comment box, because tonight's topic title, police brutality, is something that is ongoing and it's something I'm coolating me alava caring. So momo emo banku dingo ti wala emo gambi dingo ti yaje ko nyimmo coolati mi alango anyanta dannal akamasta dun tenne mole nyinko kele ya kele ko anyanta bannale bari akamulun nako ay tonkolongo wulindi la ko ten wala ay sisio wulindi la ko ten ke pour kana asifa la lafta kana murum oto kumbo nyama mo bela nyanta kolon akumata ning ikotaka bela sinyo ya mexo yaje ko ila sinyo alataka fa mo kilin dunta kono afela dobi je saim fanga atata fo mul niyo katuje people die womu sonne de mialo is a very very real concern, you know. Ning kumbo nyama alpha bal mini ketran fel o ko ni nyentem ben sita ne dol sotom fe dol be comme molje folo bari nga nyameng ladies first. We'll always start with nay budum be kontrona famfange folo me kontrona sangola mbafe ko sigil ko alman tala alman nema ning kafar kelai katum sango bakiri nyawnya lo kuntambela wala na de toketa man deje bari Gambia la ku jarta ay ku jamalla kula miya lonko because model bije nkanyim fole ning ustaz jamal le ka programo ke jang back in the days as well ning ustaz jamal le ka programo ke wonta biti wo ku meri ngonti bari ibe ka min fo wolom londo niya soto walla momo ikafenke to educate people for yake ning kodo labang for yake ning isembo labang for yake ni la londo labang momo yeminno yewoke to leave that here for humanity pour adamandingo womu fenne de mi ala kumada wayatinna a jarta ko kula to nyalon sango ba fe nyawnya akumada e pour kanaka kacha kula sutuna kacha ko memba ko kuma memba ko nyin ko mi alon ko adama dingol niyo ko tuje fewo fenka human life cost wo jarta fewo fenal pour ka kala pour ka je ko ebo wokamala beten do la fanke ndey aning Suleiman mi alon ko aka du nyawnya karango be caring, dogo be caring, family be caring, boring be caring, nyawnya, honeybee, dobije, all from malum behind the scene, dobije, min katara kul ko mani o sifal, bari akajare ye ko kula pour kanana jam pour kaje ko, come on educate and be Suleiman ben fe kana police la ko la fate ku jamala long wo ko so pour que mol civic educate wo fannala ntama long foning mo bi jam mimu ustaz o risa fanyo wo barajo la estimate ka ke jellete ni fem fo mi alon ko aka mol tankan de protect mol minni alon ko de innocent mol minni alon ko e jarda pour que tanka because ne ajibe jama minni ka fa ko kon wala molti minni man sembo so wala molti minni man makamo so e man palace so aka kumanyi kul kono bake wala sabu jama molulu woro nyonne katara jambari alaji min man tara jamba kontonna alaji jama every lokun ga feedback so rabule alaji baro alaji sedi baro ko akan jibela kan lamay so wade fana is part of voice ya bad ala cool de to kenya kamala wala na masro no jam bamba kadi rasul malong abum dawda mba fanan kontonna aziz bojam fanan mba fanan kontonna ba dawda urakira nyama nin kumbo nyama jama coming ndal ka fo nyame nga fole ko ladies first so nse ndey bula ni lamarla ni jiberale nyo kontong nyo wara je sina dum ko ko ndey mbe bula le ni mo nyo ko de bisina
ya barka bake Mustafa barka bake an mbe Suleiman kontona flole be jambi an area nying Suleiman la expertise lem janti fanang and then be assistant kontona men mantana jam bambanga amira maybe hopefully abetara la jang and sol wobenala ate mela mbafula molbe drong jube lal fanang abarka bake molben kabulan noma kan lamoy because kabringa nyim video je Omar la sister la video abe diam la nga relate la because nga long how difficult it is ye more loose because a fresh ta a baby fresh in what time on defango blue and kajibe ko ateka diamo mem fo ala broda lem andung amanki broda damati ila jikolem because ateleka kolbe ke so kono ateleka ta kodo nyinin ateleka domorol nati so kono ka kolbe ke so wo ako asata bakele ako embala fa bake because nga fo ko bi itol man fodorong yelola imam fodorong ila broda o dingola ifota menka i balundi wo dimina e bukalong nte ngajira ko nte fota moment very close na on like brother mbolo and ngajo ente affect nyamen and amaka kam balundi but yellow so ya imagine nyindo yellow len fa pete nyine mo ila yakada ba fo kam fan asasa telefon abi jara lola so imagine ni nekata ka bilol be nati ka kol be jo ka beke mondo tata wo tablo men nyanta protect la so ngamira wo nama mo balafa then fente balafa la ni banko kono so ngajelo ko bi discussion o police la brutality and a urgentale ni ting me alon ko a urgentale fo nga ko jube ko teke because meta nga fole is a balafa wartale because nga nyin discussion so la even week before jan nit ñi mbekela 2 weeks before Mustafa Ngamira fonga PRO nati jang be o discussion of police la brutality and all these things and janimbe o 2 weeks sita tambita say modo fate bulu because me ñing discussion ole kala so mol ñanta jela ko man polisol kon ma fa ko me man respect dila ma fa ko man buña dila bari nke borindi ñin sifa situation wala andu naman faling ñin tekela the last person unfortunately atekela last person di so fonga ñin ko jube abarka bake ngalong beduna kaci akono
ene barabake day sol bon ñu bayla nga nuyo yow it sol
jërëjëf Moustapha maa ngi laa nuyu di la gërëm di la jox sa wàccuwaay di nuyu ajaratu ndey di ko dellu di ko jàllewaat di ko ne sigil ko ci dëj bi mu am recently and di nuyu ñoom Asis Bojang di ko ne tey moom war na fee teew ak lim jàppa war naa ñëw because ñu ngi discuss mbiri police te moom xelam dafa màcc si yëfi police dafa am a lot of experience in policing Bamba it di ko nuyu di ko ne ñu ngi koy séntu gis nañ ne daf di def Facebook live waaye programme bi tamit dafa important war na teewu so du mun a wax ne jànga bee ko jàppa ba pare mu ngi def Facebook live so su ko jànga bi terewu di def Facebook live den jànga bi waru ko tere mu ñëw di teewe ci programme bi fii Alaaji Seydi Baro it géej nañ ko gis xam nañ ne liggéey bi la mu ngi jàpp waaye léegi-léeg mu ñoo nemmeeku tamit dina baax because ñi dee seetaan always dañ dee laajte lu tax diw ñëwut lu tax diw ñëwut lan moo xew so bugga nañ di leen gis ngeen a teew ñi ñooy seetaan yéen a tax ñu fay nekka because su nekkutoon yéen duñ fi mun a toog duñ fi ñëw amut solo nga ñëw di waxal sa boppa tem ñu ne da nga am feebari xel so ki fi toog ñun ñu fi toog yëpp kenn amul fi feebari xel yëganguñ ko soo gisee ñu fay teewu yéen a tax yéen a ñoo dooleel yéen a tax ñu ñeme di ñëw di waxtaan ak yéen so ñu ngi leen a gërëm di leen santa si seen teewaay all the time week bu nekk weda li ngay wax lu am solo o waxuñ lu am solo giwo bu leen c'est da ngeen dee ñëw di ñu jàppale ñu ngi leen a santa di leen gërëm te nag waxtaan bi neexut waxtaan bu daw yaram la waxtaan bu yéeme la gisoon nañ ko mu ngi door in foog naa 2000 April 10 and 11 biñ suñ borom benn mbaxana yi génn xale yi doon gérew di ñaxtu ñu ñëw rey leen so loolu foog naa dogoon na ba incident bi happenon in Faraba ñu am ñetti police yoo xam ne jàppoon nañ leen incident bi in Faraba bi mu happune gis nañ ne Gambian ñi génn nañ mettitul nañ ba pare ñu ngi doon demand ne the former Minister of Interior ak IGP at the time dañ war a resign because gis nañ ne ñoom ñoo njiite woon security sector bi in the Gambia so wax bi bari woon lool Facebook ñëpp di génn di mettilu so bi tax ki former IGP Landing Kinte mu resign bim resigné loolu moo safaraloon cooli Gambian yu bari gis nañ ne waaw fi mu nekk nii at least something has happened so gisatuñ anything about that so bu changes yi amee amoon nañ yaakaar ne security sector reform bi dina tax ak TRRC bi experience bi fa xewoon révélation si fa xewoon ñu bari amoon nañ yaakaar ne suñ security sector bi especially police bi dinañ soppi doxin dinañ wàcca seen taxawaay am taxawaay bu ees boo xam ne dinañ fulfill li tax ñu sampaleen parce que soo déggee police the main reason why ñi am police mooy protect life and property waaye suñ demee ba mënuñoo saxal loolu den dañoo gëstuwaat ne lu tax ñu war a am police so seetloo last case bi this Badji Adama Badji la am I right
Omar Badji
Omar Badji yeah so Omar Badji niñ ko reyee gis nañ ne Gambian si génn nañ naxarulu nañ waaye melut ni comme bu Faraba bi gisuma na man maa ko mis gisuma anybody koo xam ne mu ngi oote ne Minister of Interior bi dafa war a resign o IGP bi dafa war a resign gis nañ first statement si police yaa ngi doon jéem a cover up and the same message boo xam ne ministre bi joxe nañ ko ñoom liñ doon wax mooy ne waa ji dafa daanu daf doon daw mu daanu mu réer gis nañ président Barrow tamit génn na wax na waaye si waxinam bi gisuñ anything loo xam ne président baa ngi emphasize ne his government dinañ investigate lii te anybody ko xam ne is found culpable dinañ ko jaarale ci yoon waaye mu ngi wax ne mu xam nga ndaw ñi dañ war a obey law bi dañ war a xam nga so in other words mu ngi blame ndaw ñi man di suma gis-gis parce que ñoom ñoo génn xam nga ñooy nekk di ñaxtu so police yaa ngi def seen liggéey waxut anything loo xam ne dina tax police dinañ gëstuwaat seen taxawaay ak ni ñoo doxalee loi bi ci réew mi ak naka la ñoo manager crowd ak naka la ñoo contrôler crowd recently gis nañ ne waa am na police baa ngi génnee seen press release ne am na 4 officers ñoo xam ne ñu ngi leen suspend ñu ngi leen detain di xaar outcome coroner's inquest so loolu mu ngi wone ne obviously police yi am nañ loxo ci deyi Umar Badji bi so demee gars yi dem ba di war a suspend officers yooyu di leen detain so obviously feel nañ ne suñ amul di evidence ne complete evidence ne ñoom ñoo rey Omar waaye am nañ ci loxo so maa ngi gëstuwaat di seet ñan officers ñooñu ban badge lañ bokka gis nañ ne ñi ñu ngi Watson Gambia ñu ngi carry a story ñu ne officers yooyu they are part of the 2025 batch and this is the largest batch police ever recruit over 130 or 1,300 recruits so mënuma understand ne police be why would they recruit so much recruits at one go Bepare, the most shocking things liñ wax mooy ne defuñ through the normal process like xam nga recruit leen ñu screen leen check seen backgrounds yi seet seen educational level bi ndax am nañ criminal records etc so ñu ngi wone ne almost most of the recruits ñoo xam ne ñu ngi si badge bi they are handpicked either by NPP politicians or supporters or some of the senior police officers ñoo xam ne dañoo indi seen nit ñi dugal leen foofu ñeena ñi ñoo xam ne they were ex police officers ñoo xam ne xen na dañ either amoon feebari xel o dañ amoon yenn texe yoo xam ne moo tax gaay génne leen ñu indiwaat ñooñu without screening them ak yóbbu leen through the normal process ba pare ñun normally police recruits yi dañ leen dee base camp bi like first 3 months yi duñ dee génna danga nekk si Yundum police training school bi in Yundum foofu nga stay def sa training stay foofu bi after 3 months nga doga am time pour génna like weekend off waaye ñii dañ dee ñëw training ba pare suñ jeexalee training bi during the day they go home so loolu dafa doy waar parce que it's like yii doo leen mun a monitor doo mun a access seet ñi ci lañ nekka ndax ñu ngi def training bi properly ndax ñu ngi follow am nga police rules ak regulations so man li ma wóoriloo mooy ne lu tax police yi war a allow loolu nga jël nit ñoo xam ne out of nowhere yow screenuloo ñooñu they've not gone through rigorous process nga jox leen uniform it's like li Sankara doon wax an undisciplined soldier with a gun is a criminal so police officers yooyu they're virtually criminals because yaa ngi leen jox uniform yaa ngi leen jox the authority ñu ngi def naka la sudut noonu ba ay paken di ci faatu so loolu government bi war nañ ci gëstu and I think Gambian si dañ war a continuer di demand lifin proper responsibility from the Minister of Interior and the IGP himself because ñoom they are responsible for the security and the security reform in the Gambia so anything loo xam ne lifin ne balaa ñu jël ay scapegoat ñoom seen boppa ñoo war a jël responsibility bi in the first place because accountability bi dafa war a doore ci ñoom so you cannot just take the innocent people yéen a jël ñooñu yéen a recruit ñooñu so fall bi is mainly si Minister of Interior bi la ak IGP bi the first responsibility ak accountability should come from them not just mere recruits jërë ngeen jëf ma emagum foofu ba ci kanam
am na solo lool so
Suleiman Yagi was something very crucial and very worrying as well. Ne, of course, Lingdon read from like Lingdon explained from Linga living was on Gambia, like selection process policy and some of the situation where Nini they are maybe based on loyalty to MPP or ñeneen ñi seen mbokk yi la seen lii loolu daf ñu delluwaat back to Jammeh style, the Jammeh style of recruitment, because I think police bi dafa war a nekk loo xam ne recruitment is done properly. And yaa ngi wax academy, because dama dee laajte loolu all the time and I think I get answer. People always say me the police have an academy, because man dama dee wax ne fii dama gis ne is university. You have to go to the police university and come out with a degree before you get into the police. Because I have a friend who koo xam ne daf doon bëgg a join police salaadoo di understand and dafa rigorous. He dafa frustrated in the process because it was a long process. You have to go and you have to get a degree, come into the university, or you go and get the degree. Then even after having the degree, you have to go into the police university for 3 years, and it's so rigorous, the training and everything. So Lola don't know, maybe if police they have that. Maybe we have a lot of university graduates, you know, whether they want to be, that is another thing. But they have no job. They are lingering. How do you make it attractive to those university graduates? Actually, you have hundreds of law graduates. You have every year they got 200, 400 graduates. Job. Could these people also be recruited into the police, whereby they already get their degree, but then they go into the police for another training? Because mandama they believe ne poor training be excel in human rights, in de-escalation, bindo what to buneka su chow amenanga ko de-escalate, and then when nañ besoon a this police, community policing tamit yi yeb discuss on nañ len fini. And if police could be trained on that, because fu nekk ñu ngi gis ne problem has always been around this situation. But we are getting also into a situation which last time I told the PRO, Gambians are not afraid anymore. Because before police or arrest, it's become a bit.
I think like even time in Jammeh, because I remember as if early years in Jammeh like joined police. Man the current AIG admin Ibrahim Abba ak Kinte dañ ñëw as graduates te biñ ñëwee is like ñu bari dañ fogoon ne xen na ñun dañ am dañ xam nga amuñ aim, because doo jógee nga graduate from university nga join the police, because initially the police was only for people ñoo xam ne secondary 4 lañ or dropouts ñoo fa doon dem. But that has changed. The police legi, is saturated with a lot of young graduates, very intelligent officers. Why problem be moy the senior officers ñoo xam ne seen jànga soriwut ñu nekk foofu, then they frustrate those young officers. Then they jox the opportunity for them to grow and progress. So loolu daf dee tardel law, the professionalism and the growth and transformation of the police. Danga gis ne ñun suñ time you have to go through medical education, medical examination. You said that medically you are fit. Then they def like checks background in the any criminal records or anything. Bepare is like then they said na certain GCEs guy jël la. So they may fofu him biñ ñëwee is like dañu won ne fii whether graduate nga or GCA nga amut solo. You have to go through the training. Ñun dañ start as cadet ASPs, as officers. Why then you classify as recruits? So we went through the same training with everyone else. Amut benn difference. So through that rigorous training, a confinement, and it's like then you instill that discipline to you. And then you also have that academic side wherein you go to class, you read law and police agree, etc. And that would help you to equip la. Bepare biñ jeexalee, then you kind of send around to different units. like traffic, mobile traffic, fraud squad, serious crime. So all those units, they got them through units you purunta janga. Police operation bi nakala each unit nakala de liggéey lan mooy seen role etc. waaye da ngaa gis ne loolu doo mun a jël 1300 recruits nga ne yow da ngaa fit ñooñu in the same ba pare they all not training at the same unit because ñu ne some of them ñu ngi nekk fale PIU la ñoo train ñeneen yaa ngi nekk ñu ngi train si ground yi SIS bi mooy former NIA Yundum because ñoom ak police training school bi sori wante wuñ so ñooñu if you train them separately ñoom ñëpp benn baaj lañ how do you expect ñoom dañoo synchronize seen operational works so dafa difficult because dafa nekk ne xëy na kii yaa ngi koo teach fii kii yaa ngi koo teach fale I mënuma even understand loolu because that is a very large crowd
and is not
so
synchronized.
exactly so loolu you don't blame those people you blame the authorities ñoo xam ne ñoom ñoo leen recruit don't blame foofu because xëy na man dama feel ne 2026 election baa ngee ñëw need nañ a lot of these people ñoo xam ne xëy na dinañ kind of terrorize nit ñi ak yooyu pour conform jox access to the politicians because loolu ngaa gis demonstration si su génnee yéena yi needuloo permit because it's all peaceful demonstration gars yi ñëw we have all seen naka la police yi most of them seen commanders yi su ñëwee on the ground naka lañ di reacté so police philosophy bi they are not demonstrating that because in the first place your police bi danga war a am discipline you should be polite understand nga danga war a am you should be tactful you should be intelligent waaye soo ñëwee nga gis gars yi ni ñoo waxee like that other officer xaw ma saar la xaw ma if you don't arrest him I'll detain you so na la charge so yooyu yaa ngee wax kooku go and be brutal where normally so ñëwee under normal circumstance like as it don't wax when there is a demonstration so ñëwee danga find out njëkka ñan ñooy leaders who are the leaders of this group you call them aside and speak to them ne leen ne ñun dañ ñëw fii pour support leen o gis ngeen ne seen nit ñaa ngi def nii ak naka la sudut noonu would you speak to them xam nga ngeen make sure ne you are within the laws or yéen a ngi xam nga within si seen permits outline liñ leen permit to do or seen permit authority nekku leen di break seen permit bi so waaye loolu du dee ñoom dañoo ñëw rek it's like ñoom ñoo dee in fact provoke demonstrators because ni leen dee approché ak yooyu so loolu for me is like si high command bi la because ñooñu bala ngaa send someone out pour mu war a control or manage a crowd war nga xam ne ndax officer bi has the capacity to do so or not the officer bi su demee foofu dina mun a manage ak control that crowd waaye soo demee yow nga deploy nit ki nga wax ko soo demee nen xam nga cross them out or disperse them so obviously kooku dafa ñëw with that mentality because dafa feel ne suma officer or suma commander lii la ma instruct so suma ko carry would out I would fall a victim henna dinañ la punish or dinañ la sideline or henna ñu post la somewhere else foo xam ne henna bugguloo fa dem so you them data a lot of these officers then they def nakala sudut nonu to kind of secure their jobs why we need to see the political will ak leadership boo xam ne dina kind of encourage that police reform or security sector reform but we're not seeing it with Barrow so C2C say we're not seeing him do that and Abdoulaye Sanyang is not doing the same because ñoom li ñoo wax they just covering themselves why so gisee ñuy backtrack because xam nañ ne the facts are obvious and nit ñi are following
and
tax ñu backtrack
actually there are video witnesses of people who
exactly
are giving account ñu ngi wax naka la fi xewee and for now loolu tamit now policing bi tamit am na lu see change lu bari because léegi nit ñi dañoo record and then there are video evidences of a lot of things so yooyu tamit dafa def fooguloo ne sorry fooguloo Souleymane ne tamit the legacy buñ inherit because man I grew up with Banjul and all these things. Linga hamsi police rek moy this culture of force, culture of dole force, culture of violence, culture of door, bunde use for control any situation. Because angata say police sa mu laaj la ne la waaw li nga fii dañ la war a jàppa li nga de nga ne waaw lan laa def rek ñu mbéj la. This is what I know for the police in the Gambia. Because you are just younger like many amulo right for right there. So police the culture of violence the man since when I was a kid. And you inherit even the worst with Jame, which was even more brutal. Tamid brutalized because Jame was among the institutionalized communicate and a whole institution of torture, arbitrary arrest, and then door that whole culture and culture the family way code because biñ gisee even gala sen protest bi yaa ngi gis naka lañ téye Aliou Ba sànni ko si moto bi yaa ngi di wax ba pare yaa ngi gis beneen police bi nekk terminator mu téye affaire si gas bi rek di terminator like and yaa ngi gis the way he even enjoy that process yaa ngi gis loolu tamit yaa ngi dégg si some of the audio policy di wax ne ñii dañ yebaate because they don't even understand ne ñoom they are there to serve man fu naa yii yëpp is a big problem and of course you said something very important about the training there and all these things but I think something has to be done because they are not protecting us they are not serving us they are brutalizing and killing us now.
I think, to be honest, is not about Hedna Jam. I think the individual police leadership bila because nyom linde wa eye service la IGPB is not gonna do anything law hamne dina displease Baro, even though if it is protecting the law. So the fathers anything law hamne Baro would be happy to see while they are doing their job. So as long as Munge protect his political, interests. Why, for instance, ki Tamsir Jas, I remember in 2001 presidential election, GRTS then co-invite on. He was the DIG at the time, and the police are there for every Gambian. So police B is not just there for APRC or for UDP or for anything. To anybody call hamne break na the law, police B would deal with you, accordingly. And then I think a couple of weeks or days after, I transfer from the police to immigration. Well, that is the kind of leadership you want. Leader
I'm gonna if it is not happening, Tengai Regal plus like Sumawaheli, Lila Madev, there's going to be that bad consequence of Li Aglele. It's about the eye service ne. So this is the right person to send to control such kind of crowds. You no. I'm got that mindset you perception it is going to make things even worse. So, and the president is seeing it. The Vagina Mua statement Bua is like, kind of blaming them for going out to do that sort of thing. It's kind of blaming the people, saying the police are doing their job, the youth need to follow the law. And then another thing, if you look at it on the other side, it's like police are there to serve the sitting government, not the public at hunger. So and then this thing would go until when? What do we do to resolve this?
Yeah, that's on even Bala Suleiman. I think Suleiman, we have one name feet with affair in a Lunuara deftamid moine change employment of the senior officers to make sure there is independence. But how long lenyo muna tamid because manamane believe okay even so you got independence maybe belegi challenges in your am dinañ ko am belegi because nit ñi dañ ragal sen place nit ñi dañ bëgg keep sen place they will still continue to do that. Another angle bu ma doon bëgg xol tamit moy ne the lack of accountability because of many police lu leen neex lañu daru ci gëna because legi okay
wow that's the concern
dégal ñu ngi dañu investigate why dara du ci gëna so ñun man musuma gis police buñ prosecute I might miss it but musuma gis
in Faraba case, those 3 officers who were responsible, they were taken to court and they were jailed. And shortly after, after a couple of months or a year, Fogna Baro Genon Diwane amna mboki ñoo xamne victims yi ñooñu dañ ñëw pour ñu balal officers yooyu, and then there was an outcry. I think wax boobu mu noppi kenn déggatu, so how man after dañ leen mujjee balal or they still continue to serve their sentences. I think dafa des si public bi, because let's say for instance ki Omar Badji mi maa ngi gis gaa ngi dem si famille bi mbokam yaa ngi wane waaw li yàlla ko dogal dafa war a xew, so kenn mënu ci dara waaye yàlla moo dogal loolu.
doguma la foofu balaa ngaa ñëw
Mustafa foofu
doguma la foofu balaa ngaa ñëw dem okay, so akande
because Mustafa Suleiman just foofu noonu Suleiman we am nañ similar incident Norway fii with this whole issue these forced marriages. Xam nga suñ gars yi fii Gambian si dañ dee suffer a lot with that, with the law, like the FGM forced marriage is illegal. So dañ fi amoon case boo xam ne xale bi dañ ko doon forcer pour mu sëy by force, a Gambian of course, mbokaam and all this thing. Case bi ñëw ba nga xam ne xale bi protest bañ ko dóor something like ba xale bi dem police and all this thing, doon police jël case yi. Gis nga bi jëlee case yi police dañ jël ne this is against the Norwegian law.
Yes, loi bi la ñoo seet du family bi, yes.
Xale bi dafa dem ñu put ko pressure, obviously lots of pressure ne hanga moo dugal parents ami in jail, moo lifin parents ami hanga that kind of pressure. Xale bi dem ne no moo dafa withdraw case bi. Police yi wax ñu dem ko pour witness, xale bi bañ ne du wax. Police ne no ñoom dañoo ko di prosecute because it's against the law. They are not dealing with xale bi ne lii la, but this is what has happened and the evidences are there. So ñoom they will still go and prosecute. They will take the witnesses and then they will force subpoena xale bi pour mu wax, not xale sax mag la, I'm not over 18. Then go subpoena because this is against the Norwegian law. And when I read that on the news, I was like, wow, okay, so dina mën a demee because dang daan dégg ñu ne okay su borom ne withdraw na but this one will refuse.
It doesn't work like that.
Foofu laa doon bëgg a ñëw rek ne because xam ne loolu dina xew Baro dina fa yóbbu nitam yi, even family si nañ leen influence.
Supreme Islamic Council mite Islamic Council mite ñu dem foofu ñu ne ni, you know, xam nga that sort of thing. Xam nga loi bi,
and the law knows that.
Why I'm gonna, because the policy la affect directly. So obviously policy they would not insist that they would go and prosecute. Ñoom pour arranger affaire yi maslaha ko moo leen gënal. Why man su ma nekkee like li nga doon explain at the beginning, you know, sister bi mu ngi wax ne kii mooy breadwinner bi mooy sustain family bi ak yooyu. So today man I would take the government to court because léegi gars yi dañ leen deprive of a source of income ak survival. So dañ na yóbbu government bi ko woon leen ne kii dañ ko rey si seen coobare ba pare moo ñu doon dundal léegi family bi amatut yooyu. So des na si court si ndax ban compensation la leen aju. I know that may not bring Omar back. Why at least it would help to support the family a bit.
Yeah, I'm going to message.
As yow na ma mee ko moomin mu duga.
Okay.
Suma boss la. Ma ne ko suma boss la.
Yes, boss man is here. Greetings, boss.
Thank you so much. Bala ma sorry man njëkka jégalu ci late coming in. Dama demoon night. Te xam nga time difference night itam daf day challenging. Dama xaw a miss most of li ngeen discuss. Waaye earlier on bi may julli maa ngi taalaale suma Facebook ma dégg Suleiman di wax about the selection ak training bi and the number of people. So foog naa loolu laa déggoon. I think dinaa leen bàyyi ngeen continuer gu ma
balaa ñoo continuer nuyu naa la Aziz. The topic title bi mooy police brutality in the Gambia. Your thoughts on that? Sa xalaat.
Waaw xam nga man suma laajee xanaa nga naaroo ko down.
With the current state of affairs happening, like, you know, come this guy who just killed in Mandinari, let's tailor it to that. Your thoughts on that? Oh, you went frozen, Aziz.
Aziz is frozen, I think.
Yeah, no, I came back. Okay. I think it was my internet. There are different ways to look at this, or different angles to look at it. From the structural, systemic arrangements, to the policing mindset, to even the equipment, and even the society being naked now, generation being naked. Because I think Sunyo said Tei Li Heo, we should be able to situate it within, or frame it within, policing in a democratic society, or policing a change society. Suñ society dafa change. Lin ñi mënoon def si jamono, and they get out of it scot-free, tey dootuñ ko mën def. And police need to realize that. Why so ñëwee itam ci system bi, the police culture, the training, the concept of operation, you yep have an impact. The other thing is equipment, because equipment can determine the interaction with the police. Ma jox leen example quickly rek. Gis nga man Faraba case bi, duma dee blame the police. I blame the authorities. Parce que ci jamono yooyu, police amewuñ dara lu fetel lañ leen jox. So joxe police fetel pour mu dem to public order management. Suñ ko koona, what is the tool be more used pour génn ci situation boobu? Fetel la. Why do you have to arm a police officer to go to a public order management? Because amatuñ any other equipment. So it's a lot of angles luñ ko mëna sété.
Aziz, suñ ko
I think film nekani, when it comes to equipment, we can say the police are more equipped now when it comes to crowd control and management. Exactly. They've got a lot of seals, they've got a lot of tear gas, guns, battens, vehicles, hamga is to help support and manage crowd control. Like saying tank trucks, you have dafa kind of pump water or hot water or warm water, whatever it is. And then when we had those vehicles, in fact, a lot of people reacted, needing go in the Gambia is not necessary. Why it is important the police have those equipment. So you go use it, just for the public to know they got it, is going to help. Well, I think I did spoke about when it comes to the training and the mindset.
Exactly.
So training and mindset is very important. You were there. Time bobu policies new recruits. Then they jail a number of recruits they can manage it, then they them through rigorous screening. Why I'm not sure whether it's the actual number. 1,300 recruits. Bobu Fogna, this is the first time in police history you recruit that large amount of recruits. Bepare that 1,300 nakalanyo subject all through that rigorous scrutiny. They've sent medical tests, they've sent BFT and everything. They've sent, criminal record checks to make sure they are fit to become police officers. So definitely, I don't think that has happened. Most of those people, Nishi Opadole, Gary NPP, Nyolen fa indi, senior police officers, Nyolen indi, Nyolen Dugal. So mindset be, man lima wa moine, I think I did say, man blame na Minister of Interior be, ak IGP because ñoom duñ muna wax ne they are not aware of what the police was on the Jammeh at TRRC regulations at this police sector reform. They know these things. So Lulu once hamnañ ko, the police mindset, they should have worked on changing that mindset, wherein you use the police philosophy of the meaning of police. Understand nga polite, nga obedient, lenient, and all those things war nañ ko inculcate during training. So ñu ngi wax ne this badge is like ñoom daytime bi rek lañ dee train after training they go home. So ñun dañ am confinement 3 months te ñu bari dañ dee most of the police yi ma am training dañ dee dem Yundum barracks dafa dee nekk 3 months on confinement before nga door di génn, and this is not happening with these people. So obviously ñooñu doo leen duñ génn rek training nga bàyyi leen noonu they go on general duties.
Okay, Suleiman, harama tiela fofu ma déglu ki bala ma tontu leen yéen ñëpp. Mustafa, you were going to ask a question, right?
Yes, I even messed that. But what I'm
What
saying,
was the question?
I think I even forgot. To be fair, you know.
Okay.
I think it's good to do with the okay. All these things is happening, Mr. Bojan. We know this is happening, and the police are equipped. The mindset you mentioned earlier, you know, is such a mindset that now I'm not sure how to go about this. But this whole thing, who is responsible and who is to be blamed? Your thoughts on that aspect, because if it goes like this or continues like this, Mr. Bojang, because there's a life, you know, people a life lost. I'm not kufik, you know, nyaka bakenam. So that sort of thing, I think there must be a stop to it. It must stop now, or we need to find a resolution, a solution to this. What are your thoughts? Who is to be blamed? How can we resolve this, Mr. With your experience, Mr. Bojang?
Okay, I am not going to situate blame, but I'm going to diagnose
resolution,
the issues so that we can all know the challenges that police are facing or the country is facing right now. And then maybe Suma define a little thing and understand. And this time I want to come to...
I will be most grateful if you can help us with resolution as well with your experience.
Yeah, hanga balanga halat resolution. Funjar nga xam lan moy problem.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If you say the problem and then how to resolve it.
Here is what is the problem, what is causing it, how can we fix it?
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm trying to define the problem.
Okay.
Okay, hamga njekana wa equipment, but I link it to Faraba. So gise ma choose Faraba. At the time, li hawon Faraba, manchi inappropriate equipment. Boka na chelita impact bigina meti. Parce que bu doon ne police riot gears lañ am, na impact bi du tolu fam tolu won. So and equipment munna nekani sa am nañ adequate equipment, but they are inappropriate for the use. Loolu yep munna am. But legi nañ ñew to police culture or systemic. The 1,000 or more police officers you recruit, fan lañ leen deploy, ban training lañ leen de ak fan lañ leen deploy. So ko seetloo tey, the police intervention unit more absorb most of those people. Police intervention unit is not necessarily a general duty unit. It's a form police unit that are meant to respond to situations as they unfold. Bunje hale ñu delu. Why tey bo defé evaluation di nga gis ne almost police intervention unit ñu upper the general duty policing. What message does that send? When you have the police intervention unit, they are only supposed to be a backup, being larger than the main general duty operation. Lolu lim lay won moy this either the police or the government prioritize confrontation over general duty policing. Te su fekkee ne amna a system bu mel noonu, what do we expect? Lan lañ wara expect? Legi wherever the problem is, I don't know why li dama leen koy throw back again.
Good.
In any country,
I think as is your with your knowledge of police administration, if you were the IGP now, I am sitting there, do muna recruit, police officers that deploy them into the intervention unit, because the essence of having a
Exactly.
larger general duty. So if that is happening, then blame would be on the police administration, the police
Exactly.
leadership. So
This is how
police
easy it is.
leadership police leadership ñoo nekku di def seen liggéey, because IGP should be the chief officer koo xam ne dafa war a advise président bi on issues and matters yoo xam ne dafa kind of generate effective policing in the system, in the country. For instance, dañ dee wane waaw executive bi dañ leen di support financially, dañ leen di support hen na with equipment like vehicles, etc. So Barrow I'm so ne Barrow, because about that security knowledge boo xam ne dina ne recruit leen ñi ngeen deploy leen into the PIU. So lolu IGP bi ak police administration bi ñoom ñoo dey make those decisions.
So can I move into training?
Yes.
Okay. So say the training, of course, which is problematic under normal circumstances, minimum training the police officer warona am moy 6 months. Why? Ñun suñ jamano, we trained for 3 months. We passed out, and yet I can claim that we are good officers. So sometimes it's not even the length of time. While they train, so don't def evaluation of police training, you would have come to realize they spend more time, like daily, should they 8 hours
on foot drill?
Yes, do they 8 hours when you spend 5 hours yet is on foot drill and other physical exercise. It's only 3 hours when they spend on real kind of police craft, thinking and learning, reading about policing. So training nichi lolu. What do you expect and what is the message you are sending? Ndey dama gis ngay kati sa loxo waaye Sol ñëw na itam dina pause fii.
Sol naka nga def?
Sol, greetings. Mr. Baji, greetings.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, guys.
Aziz, I have a question because man dama dey gis ne, of course, Norway might be different from here. Why man dama gis ne Norway fee? To become a police officer, you must complete a 3-year bachelor degree in policing. No legacy, because I have a very close friend who went through this process, and I was very surprised. So how ma Gambia yange wa training? So which means that so then anybody like it's happening now because anybody remunga dugasi and then you train that. Could that be the problem we're also having? Because Mandamajine fee is so rigorous. It's I think
Lolo in the Gambia, I go into state Bohamne, Balanga join police, you have to go to the police academy and get a degree on police course. Balangula recruit. I go in that level. So usually then I'm like setting GCE or grade 12 qualification or you as a cadet ASP as a graduate, because you as graduate, as cadet ASPs, that was the difference. Why coming initially, I think police be make any lack academics. The police is blessed with a lot of graduates, leggy than ever before. Understand? I'm so many police lawyers, they develop even apply sanyang I think he did law. Yes. Understand? And there are so many young officers. Imagine Prince Almami, Manga, James Manga. So you got intelligent people. David Kujabi. There are so many intelligent young police officers. Why? It should be like I said, senior officers do encourage Hallelujah for you prosper or you use same talents. Let's say, for instance, Sambujan Fati. I think he was with police planning, etc. So guy then Kodaha because he said something Lohamne did not sit down well with IGP Ture. The guy is you the far frustrated with the young officers. Because yange like kujabi gena na diwa guy gena di ko blame ne he should not say thing more to make comments in which gena na si bopa mu apologize which is a whole different thing. Why mandama believe ne police mindset need to change pour mu correspond ak current situations ak circumstance. Asis wana ko si biir waxam ne xam nga bu njëkk ba you could do things and get away with it. Why léegi with the current situation doo mun a def anything nga get away with even with the president because dañ ko dee scrutinize su génnee mu wax nit ñi dañ dee listen to him speak suñ génnee ñu analyse waxam bi wax ne fii baax na fii baaxut fii baax na fii baaxut and that is the way it will continue to be. Key Malvin Roberts one and I've shared that on my page ne. Amga Nini suñ demee be overcome fear. There is no larger army or police bohamne dina len prevent pour ñu gain or there is no prisons you hamne dina len muna feel they would come out and they would say their thing then demonstrate. So nguur gi war nañu understand lolu. Understand.
Wow. So I'm not sure. My Sol, greetings. Topic title today. I know you must have seen it. Police brutality in the Gambia. Your thoughts, your observation. How do we resolve this, Mr. Baji? Thank you. Welcome on board.
Oh, good afternoon and good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Very loud and clear, Mr. Baji.
I have to apologize. Today's behavior is unorthodox on my part, but as you can see, the moment Mustafa and they passed on the mic to me, I had another call that interrupted. Yes. So this is what I'm dealing with, but it's okay. So my apologies to all of your listeners. I promise to be here. That is not typical of a teacher in my capacity. When you say you want to do things, you have to do them because the kids are always counting on you. So my apologies. This is not the usual way you should be acting. Again, we teach the kids in the classroom to be responsible, to be on time. And if they're absent for whatever activity or like coming to school on time, they get disciplined because learning is a very intricate thing. You have to be there on time every day to learn. Lola de was in Bokai. Nanyuani njenti ak tobas livini hewi hewa nini. Na halay dem jangi. So I mean ngente bo wara attend bite sumboki jigeni. This is for all of us. Stop attending all of these social issues or social programs, sacrificing your child's education because that's number one. Lulu mo gena am importance. Ramadan Waral Saura Faral Diwa, I'm so on day in your area and Mustafa and brother my Thomas Suleiman and Aziz. If you look at some of your information that is said in your states where you are and the countries you are, there are things that they call opportunity at last. These are data-driven researches that have been conducted to find places where you should live. Fanga wara deka, su ko defee sa doom yi muna am school bu baax so that they can have access to good quality education, upon which they will be able to have access to good paying jobs. Opportunity at last. Research it, you'll find it. But back to this topic. So I'm going to talk about two things, if you guys can allow me at least 5 minutes.
By all means.
As I joined you, I heard my Thomas Suleiman talking, and Aziz was talking about the root cause of the problem that we are having. It's ironic that less than 4 weeks ago, we were here with the PRO, talking to him about the problems that he needed to take. Aziz was telling him, I hope that you will take these recommendations and advice that were given to your leadership and try to implement them. And lo and behold, I don't know if they haven't had enough time, but at least these things should have given them pause to say, listen, we are doing things very wrong. Let's start to strategize. Again, he's talking about 1,000 PIU police officers. The vast majority of them are going into the PIU. Why is that a priority? When we seem to see that the country is peaceful in the context that when the kids request for a permit to go and conduct a protest, it's usually nonviolent. We have seen those examples of where you give them a permit and the police provide security. They do what they're supposed to do. And when they're done, they clean up the area, they hug the police officers, and they walk away. So the tragedy of what happened, Mustafa, which is what is going to bring me to talk about what I think is our problem in our country, is the fact that the police officers who actually murdered Umar Baji, I don't know if I'm sure you guys have seen that. There's one of the PIU officers who's actually a relative to the young man that was murdered. That his father, Umar Baji, is the namesake of police officer's father. How tragic is it that iteta yemofa imalon koy badi ngolom because you're not using your common sense. Ka for banko yentetale ye dokwole dinna. But in their mind, like this guy, the head of the PIE was saying, the police have been given a mandate. We are supposed to uphold the law, and if the people don't respond, we're going to react. It's as if the PRO did not take the message from Aziz, who is an expert, who knows this stuff. He's worked in the police for so many years, served his country. Is that how we used to react during the Jawara regime? Or maybe for the most part? Did we respond by just going after people, just spraying tear gas at people in their residences indiscriminately? That is what the law says? Is that what the law says? That we should go, and like Aziz says, if you read somebody's Miranda rights, which I don't think they do, but if you tell somebody that you are under arrest for violating XYZ, when I told you to do that and you didn't, as soon as the person is subdued, what should you do? Are you supposed to continue to beat on this person? We see videos. You're going about hitting the person, and to the extent that you're violating their rights now. You have done what the law gives you a right to do, whether it's the right thing to do to arrest the person. But as long as the person has been arrested and you subdue them, what is the purpose of you inflicting harm on this individual? It's a high crime. This is a high crime of human rights violations, which is why they were so pissed off and upset with the PRO. I was trying to say maybe it's innocent, but this is what they was predicting was going to happen, Mustafa and Aziz.
Yellow, Saul, my concern here is if things can happen and then coming akakela nung say molka fa but then mo fa boy akakiteng Saul. Honestly, it's a real concern. It's a proper real concern. So I think we need to talk about the minimum expert or the infernal. They know the knowledge. They know what beminekela to resolve it because kuku ala resolution is very important. But yara la nyadi le nying. So on as is dobi yanka nyinengala expertise being ko jara because not out of a molka faje boy. Saul, come on. What do you think?
So this is why I'm glad you asked the question because that's where I was getting at. Kunung, our school on Wednesday, Thursday was an Indian holiday, so we had no school. The kids were off. We were off on Thursday. So yesterday, Friday, the kids were out. We went in for what they call professional development training. And after 2-3 hours of training on how to teach the kids what kind of systems we should use, we talk about some of the programs that are being researched and done. And then in the afternoon, we had a trauma expert come to talk to us about trauma with kids who come from different countries that are inflicted with terrorist activity, dictatorial tendencies, were countries of kids who engage in wars that have not ended and they come to the United States. And how we deal with these children. Ndebe Sirinje, I'm looking at this lady as she presents, and what do I connect? The Gambia. It just comes to my head right there and then that I think this is the problem. Somebody's mic is on. It might be my Thomas.
I'm just muting again.
Okay. But it's still on, Mustafa. I can still hear.
Saul, if you can mute your mic, Honorable Saul. Mr. Jang.
I don't think he can hear you. But anyway.
Do you think you can mute it? No.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Let me just. Okay, I'll just remove him for now. Okay, go on.
Okay, so Mediamula Mandikamola Purmolsa understand.
Yeah, the message I sink in the grassroots over Kumala Bagela, Mandinka or all of me you feel.
Okay. So in training, this lady who's an expert was Kadiamu Mole about trauma. Trauma. Mustafa, Ndei Aziz, trauma. Ngawale Soto for 22 years with Yaya Jame. And this is why I connected what she was saying with what I believe is our problem. Nitara Gambia ikajelenak, barini mari manke expertoti, you don't pay attention to these things. You don't seem to understand it. But let me quickly say this. according to situations that can be traumatic. I will for. We talk about physical and sexual abuse. This is part of it because they're trying to train us about these things. Abandonment, betrayal of trust, such as abuse of a caregiver or neglect, the death of a lost or loved one, of the death or loss of a loved one, I call life-threatening illness in a caregiver. These are all part of it. But pay attention. Witnessing domestic violence, automobile accidents or other serious accidents, bullying. But then here are the takes. Life-threatening health situations and or painful medical procedures. This one, witnessing or experiencing community violence. Drive-by shooting, fight at school, robbery, but witnessing police activity or having a close relative incarcerated, police brutality, and things that you witness or people hear about. Life-threatening natural disasters and acts of terrorism will talk affect, but these are some of the things I meant for. So hold on, let me go to the next one. Then she talks about anxiety, fear, and worry about safety of self or others. You worry about recurrence of consequences of violence. You worry about discomfort that you're feeling, the troubling feeling, thoughts that you have in your mind. Then you talk about the negative impact of an issue of trust and perception of orders. This is about the PIU and the police and law enforcement and the Armaborola government. The issue of trusting Armaborola government, that they will do what the law says. These are things that are just popping up in my head. It's a light bulb. The withdrawal from other activities. The new bill problem na banko kang Mustafa. For 22 years, we are not realizing this. And then you compound it by the police officers who some of them were killed, incarcerated by Yahya Jammeh for doing the right thing or refusing to do what he told them to do. Some of them partaked in it, and they've been doing it for 22 years. Meanwhile, the population is traumatized. There's a physical, mental, and psychological impact on our children, and the police are part of that problem. This is a major issue in our country. So I looked at this report, and then I related it to what we have in our country. Okay, the next possible thing is part of education. So I commend for the education, learning can be affected by trauma reactions. Karambungolu, if you look at what is happening, for 9 years, Armaboro cannot produce 5% or more of our children having 5 good credits or better, including math and English. Then you add to the fact that the economy, look at member caring. Kodo member sunya kang Mustafa. I can be emotional just sitting here, just thinking about these things. Nita da Gambia ni molje. Mol buka tonya fono sai. Dalil jumale asabu. There's poverty, but there's mistrust. So this is a compound, this is a profound problem. And I'm thinking, we Human Resources Commission, Human Rights Commission, Juve Bediam on the branch, talking about some of these, we are not solving the problem of the country, man. And this security sector reform thing needs to be front and center for us to begin to declog and take these kids who are traumatized, evaluate every single one of these children, base number for help. This is going to be very expensive. Because the police think that they are on the right path. The citizens are saying, no, you are wrong. The National Assembly is not doing what it's supposed to do. We have a president who is incompetent. Banko be problem on a vacation. You want to go and rest while the country burns down. Just like Aziz Bemen Fokan right now. I will give you a prediction, which is sad, but this is the reality. The police will kill again and again before election 2026. Mustafa, this is the sad prediction. Because the reason why I'm saying this, they promise, you read the letter. It all found call. Umar Baji Meyafa was because he was running Afata. That's what they first said. If you're talking to Aziz right now with his expertise, if an incident like this happens, the PRO should have been the first person to come to say, we have an incident, we suspect what we think happened, but we cannot conclude. We are going to do a thorough investigation for 10 days, 5 days, And at the end of the 10 days or thereafter, we will come out and give a press conference and say what we think happened. There we will start prosecuting or doing what we need to do for people who were found culpable.
Right.
And
So
then the next, huh? Hold on,
yeah,
Mustafa.
yeah.
Then the next thing that happened, they came back and they scaled back and they gave us a different narrative. For about the trust, right? And now this is party guy goes to the community and tells them, you have to tell the kids they must stand down. If they don't, we're going to do this. They cannot de-escalate, Mustafa. They just don't have the guts to do it. They don't have the balls, B-A-L-L-S, B. They don't have the balls to de-escalate. They're scared, they don't know what to do, and they just continually pushing the envelope to the extent of the problem also. You understand? The Justice, Chief Justice Asan Diallo Laleta Kunung Aliajele. I mean, they already should have done the autopsy and the coroner's report. Until Uncle Ibukoli, he just retired a couple of months ago. I think Saul would remember him. Saul was in immigration. Aziz Bar remember that. The guy was back in Jawara's time. Nimo Fata at the hospital. The coroner's report, Janabe conduct, police officers are sent to be witnesses to that. And they justify and corroborate the report that we were witnesses to the coroner's investigation. And this is the report that goes with the death of the individual. There's a death report that goes with it. Before they even release the body to the family, it has to have a coroner's report that goes with it. So how can they have this young man killed? And they're coming for this is very important. The Chief Justice wrote a letter yesterday, Kafoko, he is giving the coroner the right. But what happened to the report? They didn't want you to tell you. So where's the coroner's report, Mustafa? Trust Mantaraje, there's anger and it's going to explode. The police will kill again. And this time around, there's going to be disaster in that country. I pass it on to you, Mustafa.
Thank you. Before you go, Saul, let me give you this one. Your thoughts, because yalo nyim funda bundal be ani nyim fanal be molle ba maranila. Okay, and the minute maratala ya jele nyin ketale mbe ngajela ketale. Yeah, and then Woto, your thoughts on the Inspector General of Police and the Police Interior Minister. Your thoughts on them. Yajele nyin ketale mbe ngajela ketale. Your thoughts, Mr. Biden.
Okay, the incident that happened in, was it Kalaji with that young man, Haruna Jaju? Am I right or wrong? Just in 2017.
Yeah, that was Haruna. Yes, that was Haruna.
Okay.
I forget the name, but it was Haruna, the last name. Yeah.
Okay. That incident happened. At the time, we had this Inspector General of Police who was there, the guy who came from the UK. Then the Faraba incident happened. What happened with the Inspector General of Police? He resigned. He resigned. But these people don't have the guts, they don't have the balls to resign. That's what should happen. The Minister of Interior should either resign or Aramaboroya fire. That's how you begin to solve the problem. To hold people responsible, Kafugo, it is under your purview that this happened. You must either resign or I will fire you. The IGP should be gone and Pate Jao should be fired. This is what you do. And then you start to focus on the problem. Niya nyinke, more baby sila bafok Aramaboro benyim problem about Takane, Faba Solfla, Fata Solfla, but he's doing the right things. You do those 2 or 3 things. And then, first of all, Mustafa, how can the police investigate themselves? Right? The police committed a crime. Instead of you getting an independent body to, you want to find a coroner report? Who is the person who did the coroner or the autopsy? I don't know. Who was it that did that?
But they even call it independent. They kept on saying it's independent, actually.
But what independence is there, Mustafa? One of us committed a crime. We want to investigate ourselves. We can investigate ourselves.
Tom, I think most of these things I've said it earlier. You can be for saying at the beginning of this program. Yalong Faraba case ni niaje Kinte resigned because almost Gambians were demanding either Minister of Interior Nying Sonko at the time or Kinte was the IDP, or both of them should go because Molia Jeko, they should be held accountable. So Kinte did the right thing, he resigned. But in this case, we've not seen anyone almost from or what, I've not seen anyone one in the social media or out there can demand ko Minister of Interior or IG in Yantatala. Because like you said, at the beginning, they said Boyoning Aborita Afata. Baro Fundita, and we were expecting when he speaks, he will reassure Gambians ko, he is going to do something, his government will do something to make so those responsible, not only the recruits, but police head soul, chief soul and interior, he starts from them. But Barula speaking, Nia Jube, he is blaming Gambians youth soul. Come ni from the demonstration, they should obey the law. So I'm not saying for police soul. He didn't say the police, the police should uphold, the law. But if a law you uphold like Nyadi. So if Baro Fundita Noako, okay, IGP, I'm relieving you of your duties because I think this is, misadministration. Imela doko ke inyanta kela nunyamin ka polisol mara. As Minister of Interior, okay, I'm relieving you of your duty because you are not supervising, the security of the country, like police and prisons. So now okay, come here for nyamin. Then the other senior officers, Balona Leko, saying there is no room to mess up.
Precisely. So.
President of Fundida, abe kumoni masajla, and blaming the youth. Nothing is going to change. The police will continue because Niaje party Jango Fundida Diamu Tanyame because he expects the executive president Baroba Sobola. But in Naya Lonko, Naya Minfo, it would cost him his job. He would not come out and say what he said. So, blaming is on Tingaminfo, President Barole Tabigele, Minister of Interior Tabigele, IDP Tabigele. Because Jumalika, recruit, police admin leke recruit, Jumaleke tax dealer, Jumaleke assigned with responsibility, police admin will leke assigned with responsibility. So if they failed in executing their responsibility, therefore a Nyanta police administration in Jubela, are they doing their job? Are they doing what is expected of them? Policy, what is the use of the security sector reform? Ma understand. Maje. Because near for police every time with the police press release, well, the police are doing this training, they've been sending them here, they've been sending them there, Ekanyan facilities also, they got this, gives equipment and stuff like that. Wala nafali. Because when they go out to execute their duties, you see them failing abysmally. So unless they start setting the record straight, and this is not just jailing these junior officers, woman problem will solve. You can keep jailing them every time, but it's not helping. You need to start from the top. Ninyoka tinya akatinya kumole follow. So kumole nyanta inyanta will regular follow. Then kata at the bottom.
Thank you. So I'm not sure.
That's my perspective.
Thank you. Okay, Nay, because this is a real concern in Norway, in the UK, in wherever most of them, even in the UK, you're going to even resign and go more fata Islam Morocco, more fata under your watch. So it's a concern. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, because I'm sure Aziz will come also in back to this. Wala nante ka nyinin karoke ko ila recruitment process because ngamen for going back to situation here in Norway, you cannot a police officer in Norway without going to the police university. That's out of it. Okay, Norway in Gambia man can, but Gambia, just like Bafo Suleiman even confirmed that there are lots of university graduates in the police. That should be probably something police has to look at. You have lots of graduates from the university. Many alonko doku tebulu, ibe sirinje. Ibe police make nola how attractive ibe make nola to those people and make sure they come in and also get training because the police university in Norway, ibe law kelale, human right, because I know about this because I had a friend who actually thought that you will just go into the police is the easy way to go into jobs. And then he realized that he had to study for 3 good years. And he was so frustrated with that. But then in the end, you see how he came out to understand things, legal, lots of things. So we have to look into that as well. Yes, I agree with the top, because the top is everything, because of course the political will, because the police is politicized, because that is one thing. And also the culture of violence, because Ninga Jube Yentol brought up Nyame. There is violence from the home all the way. Ndol ngamina code wrong, everything you have to beat. Even liporokela, wala yenendi to solve problem. We see it in the social media, we see it at home. So this culture, how do you
let's
train?
compare the army. Let's compare the army and the police on the Jamme. The army was more powerful and was worse. But it's saying near Jube on the barrow, it seems the army is more reformed and disciplined than the police.
I
You
agree.
rarely see the army in most public activities. Well, what do you see the army everywhere? Saying you don't see them. It's
But is
like
it
it's
that
in
the
the
army has learned
reforming.
is it not the army has
Is,
learned their lesson, because they were the most
of
brutal
course,
in Jammeh's time?
yeah. So I don't know why the police, because most of these senior police officers, me along, they have even been adversely mentioned in TRRC. They're still there.
Yeah.
Okay,
People like
let's make
Dembaso
it,
and others.
let's make it interactive.
Assist me help
Anyone
us.
can share your thoughts. As we are in this. Solbaji or Aziz. Aziz, you've been quiet for a while.
No,
Assist
Jenny Aziz Bena, because I'm listening to what Ndeye is saying. This is true. I think we should separate the shafts, because the PIU seems to be the most culpable in creating problems and committing crimes while they're on duty, whether it's manufactured or by default or the way it is. But to Saul's credit, and as he's in London, and I saw this. Our police officers, the regular, PIU, it has to be completely, we have to completely shut that place down in the next government. That's my belief. And restructure it and take all of these police officers who have not committed any crimes, retrain them and get them to get back in the system. We should have a unit that would respond when we have an incident. Like this, that's what the PIU was supposed to do. It's an intervention unit, but are they doing intervention? Are they actually creating more problems? So the police have a lot of highly educated people, and very well trained officers. Let's not just put them in one box and say everybody is bad. No, there are very, very good, competent police officers. Many Mustafa. So the difference, I believe, is the PIU under Patejao and this mental thinking that they've had for all these 22 years. Kafo. The only solution to these youth is we beat them up, we rough them up, and that will keep the problem away. The problem hasn't gone away. It's going to get worse because the kids are now going to continue to come out. So, Ngande Mwelabe Diamka about this, Mustafa. I'm going to give you an anecdotal evidence here. Again, we will not compare the United States, Norway, UK to Gambia. Atakela. But at least the remuneration, compensation for police officers who are highly trained, highly educated, and cut down the issue of police collecting money. The police should not be involved in collecting money for any reason. Any license plates found, give it to the local government, let them do it. The only thing the police should do is enforce the law. You violate, they know what the code is, they give you a ticket, they say you can go in front of a judge and fight your case, goodbye, move on to the next incident. Focus your attention on the things that are more important, more critical. Who is committing crimes? And when small things like Mustafa, I mean, a small thing like that, but you have drug dealers who are walking the streets. And the people who did the murdering for 22 years, Yahya Jammeh government, somehow they think it's okay for them to walk the streets. But a young man who accused, this is what they say, allegedly, Abetale Sabakang, you arrest that kid and he's dead. So if you have good, competent police officers, which we do, because Senegal investigation capacity is great, and I saw it. What are we going to remunerate to compensate these police officers and set standards high with what they were saying? Who are we recruiting to take up these jobs? What qualifications do they have to begin with? There's so many students who are going to law school graduating every year. If we said, and this is what I'm getting at my school, we have a police resource officer, because America students every time it's happening in schools. So we prepare. We have a resource officer whose job is to de-escalate. And with contraband items, arrest, I assemble to the police. He's part of the police department for Manassas City and all these other schools in the country, but he's assigned and paid a salary from the school's budget. You want to hear this? $100,000 ikajo walela per year. That's $700,000 for him to be there to ensure the children are safe. So, in context, if you say an average police officer should receive nothing less than $200,000 based on their qualification, you use a baseline and start paying these police officers who have the qualifications after the vetting to make sure that their job is to do nothing but to enforce the law. We wouldn't be having the nonsense we will have, because Mustafa, I will not sacrifice the salary that I'm receiving for a small $10,000. I'm going to lose my job. Plus, you add all the benefits. They have good health care. They have good dental. They have vacation time to enjoy themselves. But you set the rules. You must do your job. And there is going to be a body that would be evaluating who's doing what. At the end of the year, if you need to be promoted, promote or increase your salary or decrease it. You go through some training, which is a PMP, to come back and be able to serve. This is one of the solutions that I'm putting on the table.
Thank you. Okay. Then you want to say something?
Yeah, before Aziz come, I'll say, yes, Saul, I agree with you that they are good police officers, because I have my first cousins who are, one of them even is a police prosecutor. You see them, but the people we deal with, they are the bad one. They are bad. So, I mean, police has to do their own, it'll only rebrand la, because don't make a deal. They are the bad ones. Wole katara ni wole katara mbedo kono ni wole ka benni tata traffic auto ni wole ka benni tata ila officer to tata crime report ni wole ka beng and itolle ka itane ko it's like this hani ko ko muneketa yenta mo kosi. That has to change. Honestly, the culture of violence in the police, when yenta for the top we have to do that, but those people we interacted, the PIU or this small police in Melbourne and Bedo Kono, these are the people that are making our life horrible.
Yes. We're coming to you, Aziz. Police or
I think we should start. Ni police or consequences.
There must be consequences.
Yeah. No, people will come out because police I right
That's not right.
What right does the police officer have porque slap?
Okay.
Right. We have so low crime rate to the point that the town I live, to the next 3 towns, there is no police station. There is no police station. You have to go to how many kilometers for where you have our central police station. If I have to go and fix anything, I have to go all the way to that place because of the low crime rate. Things happen, people call, and the police is here already. So I'm not saying we should be at that level or whatever. Even in Ghana, I lived. They have a military hospital where even most people go there because they are so sophisticated, highly educated police officer, military. They even have police units of Waju, where you have the women and juvenile unit in the police station. Because I remember when I was working there, we used to fund that department as well. So these are some of these things. It's just normal that police should just, I think, for me, I'm sure Aziz will do that because I'm throwing everything Aziz and Saul and Suleiman. But police have to just respect us. For me, I believe they have no respect for us. It's just because look at the kid, Omar. When you hear some of the witnesses narrating, I'm sure the police officers were so angry. When they got hold of him, the first thing they would do beat because for why? Police all feel good that they have to beat us all the time. And Suleiman, yes, it's more question, but you have to be very fit to make sure you beat them well, that they won't get up before the other police come, because they will kill you, because that's what always happens. You beat them, they will just beat you to death. And the other police, look at the woman guy they kick. The Omar case, when they went there, there's a video. They just got hold of this guy, whether he was part of it, they are not sure. Nobody knows. They just got hold of him from the crowd. And the other police just came and kicked. The live video is there. Why all this anger against us paying them? Why all this tamakostop?
I don't get it.
Also.
Yeah. Thank you, Ndai. Because Minkera, the reason why, okay, we'll give credit to the police. I received a message after our program, Ning Piaro Minke. I received a message because your line also to Minni along Nimi left a call emergency lines. They supply me that. But I sent the question back, Kajeko. Are they chargeable lines? They said they are chargeable. I say, well, this is not going to benefit my people. That's why I did not flag it up. But they're chargeable lines. Minni along people cannot afford. So thank you to them. Maybe PRO Brabara I will message for delay, to the authorities Minni Maratawala. But
Mustafa Jani Asisbina, that communication is what is lacking. Number one, we don't have good communication methods. Police should be having radio. They should have radio communication at all times. Cell phone only you use. Well, the government, the country has failed. It is a failed state.
Afford that. Yes, yes. Yeah, thank you. Aziz, my thoughts here. Love the time spent la jambaki because 2026 is just round the corner. I'm jamfa. And then me and Silan, the Silata bake. Mulmini alonko iman sembo soko. Nintada fonga jeko mo fale kake kuokono. Tamakosola kake kuokono. Iko ye tiagazol sotole. Iko ye kidol sotole. Iko ye jorangol sotole. And then this make it a bit scary. Go the 2026 kule anya tiling na mi alonko. You need to be extremely careful. Ning wante. Luabe kununa oitol fonga be lipala oibe kununa. So nyen sila bake ayatina left to put in program where you can me along hana bakela barajiti nga mol educate ke enlighten hanne atarano message bafutala molla minni along ko wollom nyaton kolti abakumala bake for us to pass this message through this platform. Hey, near kuke, me yalonko I banku dingola tora, there must be a consequence for it. Near mo fa, nine bige. Nim fa rocket, etala maraloko be bailal. Near mo lipa, ibe lipalal oye bail. But I don't police dinding to okela no, police kebales okeno. So ni wole ajeko, mimbe keri amantra tilene. So ni wolke deaka, abumul naleko, wole kan yunu sembentu ya, purkajeko, ibe minkang, yes, well done. Promotion or yadila, ane osifam. So, Aziz, your thoughts on all this thing? Because left the nyingyara yem mako yenso jamal le nyanda mako la purunga nyingyara ninata nyaton ko la karola. Aziz.
Mustafa Baraka lafta aliye menyin ka siyata lafta nun ka mobe jabi barintano bari ndey wo quickly lafta mem fola with regards to education. Until that time, education, no matter what degree you have, if you come, you start with left, right. So I think you've had that phrase. So it's not education value back. But until afternoon, menna, I think there is a problem na oversight. Adumeati na oversight wole munyintiko. Pia yule cool oversight. But in the American incident, PIU was not involved, even though they end up becoming the face that the unit that has to face with the public. There is a unit called anti-crime unit. Nindingola fa sunta wole bulu. Wole tata mandinari. So the question here is, Jimale deploy itata munela and what was the situation? Was it that because Wofanamu another unit leti of its own, Mealonko, Mosamirako is a rapid response unit. Muneesi Mandinari. Lafta Memfolaja Wolemunyintiko, that unit is the most brutal unit than any of these. Near Boysol, Nininka, Ning, street corner Boysolu. They will tell you anti-crime unit. It only brutal because Canali ye sat nye mentarable yata ye tulo fading they let you go. But mune samba mandinari. What was the occasion? Jimale kumanda. Fodum itata fisinel. Itata jimale jala mutola. Foi fangolu ila rabaraba lembang. I want to believe that unit went on their usual rabaraba. Natanga rabaraba na fending soto. It goes back to Sol Kamemfo. PIU Manjim Fade. hani yo bari sila wo raba kono ningalien dongolu tara ibela tai sabola ndongol yalije iborta alke bayndi munela is it pour kay muta ka fending table or what lefta molu se nyine long and can ask those questions because man la fi menna police oli nyim fuduma di mol la doronton kari at atara malong mune ba koma niaje fana bringing incident keta youthful wulta youthful come fatally because they have lived under that kind of situation over and over again where niye mutie kesamba anti-crime ye la kodo be busi ye tulo busang ye detain ni bita $50 di leo ke pasot.
I think as is to be quite fair, whether general duty lim, whether anti-crime lim, whether PIU lim, they all under the umbrella of Gambia Police Force.
Yes,
so
but
there is
I'm
no
going to- Yes.
Suleiman, it's not about the unit. It's about the concept men ika apply. Why would you just go out? In fact, breaking Kakete Balale, they don't go there. But you will leave your place, go all over to Mandinari to patrol. What is the context? What's the security context?
I think this is where the leadership also accountability comes into play.
Exactly.
Because near anti-crime, you said they're the most brutal. Gorgimbo alaman nema ninkasar kilama.
Yes.
Ala watu mobe ka Gorgimbo fo. And ikafu there are certain places me alonko they were no go area, but ati damala unit like ataje andung ateleka wol regle. So yaje kuwodi abe kamanya lebala andung nimu nyatun koti.
Suleiman, Alman Fayad,
Yes.
I waited almost 20 minutes.
No.
Number to the wrong, kuntu what I'm trying to bring. Context menka samana. Ita lon.
All yours, Mr. Boja.
We prioritize reactionary policing. Because police were not present in those areas where they should have been present to prevent crime. And they become crime hotspots. Now you create a unit that is so brutal that will go and kind of attack those places. But even Gorgimbub among effective, because under normal police circumstances, when you do that, when you send people now to go to those places and remove or at least regain control over those places, you should establish continuous police presence. Because Nimake, it's not effective. So after Memfola Jambake, police Damafango will not think it. I'm going to say this, and maybe someone can publish it on Facebook. I am banning. Having those degrees and those intellectuals in police cannot bring about a change. Apartheid South Africa, the people that were behind it were highly educated people, including those police officers. Zimbabwe have a highest literacy rate, yet we've seen what is happening. Chonte, I don't think konanying intellectual or membeje, they will. Don't always and they question.
But I think it's police school. I'm not talking about police, just a higher education or degree, because here there is a police university. That's what I'm saying.
In fact, Handintaraman Police University is sort of day. The police culture and mindset, man change. No amount of degrees have to change that. And it is systemic. Where you have a police force that prioritize escalation over de-escalation, these are going to be the results, no matter how and where. But the major challenge now, is that we need an independent body to evaluate police service delivery against the resources that are given to them. We need an independent body to look at that, because until Kamuneje, very war robbery, keta or bank robbery, more mutadro, more because the police are doing good job. And of course, we should thank them. But has anyone sit down and ask how many resources went to apprehending those people? Could there be another way of preventing it without using similar resources? The 1,000 recruits men recruit sambanan into the police force. Could that amount, that works resources, be translated into some other equipment or strategic deployment that will give us even better resources than having all this? Because caring right now, we are having a security sector reform that is being supported by international donors. It's going to dry out. When it dry out, how are we going to sustain it? All of these things need to be thought through. I don't want to sit here and react to something when I know the systemic cause of it. I will not be doing justice to myself.
So, saying, if I may ask you, how would this, chronic systemic issue be resolved within the police?
Okay, two things. Civil society imposing on government to say, we need to reevaluate police service. We need that. Or the donors kind of saying, we need a reevaluation to see the resources that we are putting and the output, and kind of get citizens' satisfaction. Then you will know what is wrong. We are not getting that. So what is happening here is that anything the police tells the government, because there is no one who is so passionate about asking those questions, government will always take it. This is not only the first time we're seeing this 1,000 police officers. We've seen almost 100+ police officers being promoted. I am not saying they should not, but what is the need? What structures and what strategic plan or strategic direction have they provided to government to justify that? Is it just because in Ghana electoral, this country is not safe, they will add terrorism to everything without even evaluating how that can be possible?
But hello, Aziz, molle kanyinke, ku bakeri, molle kake, palaso palas bije, molle ba mararingala, palaso palas bije, molle ya nyaton Aziz. So, what a sign, because mal ndama policial barinde ka polisol je kamaja men denga wara policia bola nyama Gambia anyanda kala wala nyama fana anda bola nyama jan police loi ndebe nyim banko min kan polisol ka loi min tamana nin Gambia ta amam fata bake. Okay, nin ku keta mimba ko nyin to nyalo, because nga nyatili wato min is a very crucial time, because mol start taleka yalo mol ni nyori fo inakita marajo la fensola, because la kotan keda mol start niaje demonstrational bina be multia cars like dol fata dol ketaten dol bakelaten mol le kake but wol mol ni yake as is min kan sula nyin ko kon wolon ku ni yake kontibo la nyanda consequence la nyanda darla je mom moy minke ila action yake and nying aketa la killing aketa fula modol foy ka nyim public order acting cool dol fo min ya lonko ibka faham fam bari molle bije min be nying ko gibe kan under somebody's watch. So wo mol foy bika nyinge akakebang for ita ila konko, because as is itemu police all the Soljang is a police officer atol ita tan la fila b ni ba fola ko sol ba fola ko ndemo police all the e ba fola jama ila that police all wo yaji ita la fila wo reputation si fa attack itela police all mu nyinne betenne you will not be a proud ex police officer. Yeah, so ni kumbo nyama say mol minni alon ko wolle ka nyin inyala nyin kam min mar alam bi ni ko moy ko tuk rim president ko tuk nyin te kala jam atakala so na ko ngam wolle marandi place wol bu ka fo tukki bu ka fo da e ka tara de aka continue wo nyama wote ka fale ko ngacce nyali gacce ngalama alba minka alba sila kendol ka ahande.
Yeah, because I also want to tell, say at that. Ndefana man la janno we ninga police soldier nka security feel. Gambia ne police soldier insecurity. So well nyanta falin nale because police soldier told traumatized le. You more traumatized le for ikana jang pang hani jang pango.
Okay.
Be adjust la to police sol fan jang. If on ke fan do the trouble kono because they're trying to avoid the police. It takes time before ibe adjust ko. Well, this is security is normal. Hani la ku jolonta janye police o kumade na ya jubebe ibe mako le nyame ika feel slow kan ye police o stop. Aye samba sometimes for JFM because you cannot find the place. So it becomes so human and normal and natural. So
Ndey ani Mustafa the solution te menji komende ka fo nyame Norwegian ntete Canada code la bari nte mu Jamaica nonti ngamenje Jamaica and the contexts are almost the same. Jamaica have what they call Independent Investigation Commission, INDICOM. Near Lonko, any incident relating to the police will not investigate. Immediately na ketadron, INDICOM will investigate it independently. That is what we need. I cannot understand police investigating themselves. Even with all the best of intentions, there cannot be credibility.
Yeah.
We need that. But if police will not fight for it, and government may not even be interested in it, civil society needs to
fight for that.
Yes, to have an independent investigation commission called INDICOM. That's what change to make.
Defana lafta police ole menke wole muko ndela solution nte lafta wenako is just complete structure nying culture nying police ola culture ay falling ila culture violence culture nte lafta way change recruitment to ngamo sol ya fole aziz ya fole big boat sol ya fole ko they have very good training and all this important them wojen te as an ordinary Gambian I'm not feeling that they are well trained to talk to me as a citizen, to treat me like a human being. So until after recruitment standard told that
exactly. In summary,
accountability mechanism, as he said, income. What was the name?
INDICOM.
So the accountability mechanism, because police they got accountable motor. This is arrest nole. This is more lipanole. Police you enter because then I'm accountable. They take me. But then nobody, police will mengomen dete fole, mengomen dete yake manfenje, muka fenneje. Nkaje get away with. I mean, yet didn't go muta ye aluba muta ya fai fenkokono. Video be ya yitandile. Police will koikela do koleke. That's what they told us. Ibela do kokeka. So these are the things I want to see that. Ila recruitment standard, ila proper good training, accountability mechanism.
Yala ndey ikamin fo janto ndey. Yala ikanyi min fo den. Ha ikamin fo den ndey to nyalom bari hanni ataranu ye training soto ye degree soto ye masters or PhD soto ning ataranu ikake ibe min la service la nim wol ko eko ala keteng mamire la wo fon be kum yamare la wo fon be kum malal ba because iba jela ko ikam kilin dam mal saf jang.
Yeah, you are talking about the political will, but ibajela ko yes, the political will. I agree with you. Ofanang omu problem bality, but ikajele jang hani tebu officati ye quota fang ikoyeko ake ifang obuka hani la kel because there's accountability. It's a follow ko Prime Minister Jonas Garstora le afoyeko ake hani because you alonko you as a police you are going to be accountable. Ibetele sambala kitula, ibetele discipline la. So I think there is also the political will, but individuals also should take some kind of, let's take for example, SAR. Mune wrong ta SAR, gala la protest, ay law, according to the konko, albe jam mune la jang, nga file ko pamital bula amanya yang. Okay, Allah explain. Mune SAR stop from just doing that, even if there is the ko atanyinke.
Okay, yalo biri woketa ndey. PRO nata jenna ko if police dindingol ñun they were acting unlawfully. Yalla PRO we wole fo. So wala ka tandila wala min signify wala ñinti ko niaje PRO bo fola aya moy dulal do photo dulal do wol mol pre woke e ko wala sembentu ya not like mol accountability or so ne woke si fafang it can promote like instead. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but Mustafa, can I come in?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so Aziz, I stand corrected. I never knew that the PIU is a different unit from the police intervention unit. Is that correct?
No.
Jawala nying team nying aning men can respond. Is this one of this different? Men can respond ning problemos hotoda aning PIU. Are they the same or different?
So we have two units here.
Yes.
All of them are kind of form police units. One is tackling crime directly, and that is called the anti-crime.
Anti-crime, okay.
Yes, they are based in Banjulundi.
Okay.
At the police training school.
Okay.
Then you have anti-crime actually used to occupy, I think, that place where Nene Freda had an issue with government.
Yes. Okay.
And then, of course, PIU, which you have in Carnifing.
That's the police intervention unit.
Yes, all of them are supposed to be, the anti-crime unit is supposed to be sting operation.
Okay.
Yes.
I get it. Thank you very much. So, Mustafa, you're asking for solutions.
Yes.
I hear Aziz talking about the Independent Investigation Commission in Jamaica. We need that, but we can also inculcate that under the Human Rights Commission. That's where I think they belong. Because their job as human rights is to say the police can only do X, Y, Z, they cannot do this. But the problem, Mustafa, our National Assembly, and again, I agree wholeheartedly with what Aziz is saying, civil society, and they're doing it now, they have to impose on the National Assembly. And Mustafa, you asked for solutions. If the National Assembly had the balls, then you use the bucket because Mustafa. If the National Assembly invited the Ministry of Interior and the IGP and Pate Jao, or whoever is in charge of these the police station where the incident happened, you bear line up sitting down in front of in the back behind the table and question them in public to explain what happened, for them to give a report, and the National Assembly sends them and say, we need a conclusive report.
Oh, incoming call, come on. Interesting. Okay, thank you, Lai. Comments or comments. We can see the comments. Thank you.
Lai also is a former drug swap. Lai said most of the graduate police officers who lately enlist are mere hustlers using police as a step board to get to UN jobs or other international jobs and not interested in professionalism or national security. That's Lai Lemon, former drug squad director, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you, Lai.
Yes. Mustafa, so we talked about solutions.
National Assembly to line them up.
The National Assembly's job should be doing that, to say, tell us what the Constitution gives you the right to operate under. And tell us if what you guys just did in the murder of Umar Baji was consistent with what we gave you as a mandate. And this is where you hold them accountable. And if that is the case, we don't have to wait for Arma Barrow. We don't have to do like what happened with the former IGP who resigned. The National Assembly can tell the IGP and the Minister of Interior that we have a vote of no confidence in you because your behavior can bring a crisis in this country. Therefore, we are going to make a recommendation for you to be either dismissed or you resign. That's the beginning of how you solve this problem. Civil society group more for. But the other solution, as is coming for, evaluate police service delivery. How do we evaluate police service delivery? There have to be performance management programs that would evaluate every station, every officer. Mustafa, we need to decentralize. Gambia population of Seattle saying, let us decentralize, have a police inspector general in every district. This is what you start to begin. Let the council, the commission, or the municipality handle their police, their fire department, and pay them salaries. They're closer to the public. The people can walk up to the IGP's office, citizens, and question them and tell them the next time it's time for you to be promoted, we are going to recommend for you to be dismissed. This is how you start to hold these people accountable. And if the mayor or the city council executives don't do the needful, then when the next elections come, they vote them out. I mean, you see it in London, but you have an Inspector General of Police sitting in Banjul. He's not accountable to anybody but the Adama Barrow. And the National Assembly is not doing their job. You decentralize. Ya foyeko albetar la janne, Allah responsibility is for this community. Nitel after license plate Ola Mustafa. Right now you can have a license plate for KMC. You pay that at the KMC. The police in KMC can hold you accountable. They can interwalk. We need different units of police. We have to have state police, or maybe you can call them national police. They can travel anywhere and be able to arrest anyone anywhere. Those would be the highest trained people. They can complement the police. But here's the other important thing, Mustafa. The police, what we need to do with restructuring is a lot of these people need to go. The government and the people of the country must be willing to pay a hefty salary. Many alonke bejele among crime commit, but they're not competent enough. You pay them a handsome amount of money, direct them to the bank and say, go to this unit. They will help you guys create a security company. That security company can help complement with the police. Nalbe security ke kanjang at a Walmart. Your job is not just that, but you'll be able to be the eyes and the ears of the police. You complement us. If you see something wrong, you call us. Have police officers who are in plain clothes, traveling. Aziz Kamenefo, why did they go to Mandinaba? I don't know. Could you call them problemati? They are not being compensated enough. They're going on. Look at what happened with that stage. The police officers, many a police post Landi, just to stop people. I mean, I saw one of my best friends just got in trouble with the police 3 weeks ago. Akabe tambe kanne, police only stop in postal state, which shouldn't be there. And they started asking him questions. He provided his documents. They started probing him, asking him for more. Where's the law that says you should be questioning people who have not committed any crime? Case stop question. Huh? So there you are muted. But these are solutions we need to put on the table.
No, I just want to say yes. I mean, these police people. I'm sorry, slave and all these people.
Yeah, Saul, your reputation is at stake here, Mr. Jeng.
I don't think so, because
you, Mustafa, you want
yalo mimbe kiri come assist men for yalo service delivery accountability nying wobi jele.
Here, wherever you go, near Gambian passport or Landi, you want the people to respect Gambian passport. Near Gambia police, you want them to say, Gambia police.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel embittered. I feel really embittered. Ninga police misconduct all day, or eka police on Fiji Fajar on the social media. I can neo queer bakele. Bari kuonying come it's a jubeno la fana clean. Reforming mindset bigele. Police all need killer mindset recalibrate. Two, IGP should be an independent and all office nyanta killer an autonomous office. Many alongo president cannot just hire and fire at will. It's a new kita IG si hanyino ka certain decision alter or ka certain reform alter may alongo. His position will not be threatened by any politician. Sabanya wanying ila training yung inyanteris evaluate la, because come as easy for nyame until I went through that. Out of the 8 hours, 5 hours will be food drill them, arm drill them. Then the other maybe 2 hours okay physical exercise. Maybe you only have 1 hour in the classroom, wherein is the same police literature me alongo kabri 1965 or Chonganyo level reform. And they expect you kawu karam, because I had that problem myself and AIG Ba, and we challenged the late Sergeant Ba. He was a very intelligent officer, because he's from the Sergeant Ba.
Yeah. He actually worked under me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him very intelligent.
I think yeah. Later he became an inspector. He is very
He
intelligent.
passed from actually.
He's from Gambia High School. But he norm dañ dee expect nga cram seen handbook bi jumbo ba nga cram handbook bi and you have to regurgitate it. So man, that is not how I learn. Man dama dey jàng to understand. And then when they ask you the question, if you explain, giving this idea, they want you to write it word for word. And man, I'm not good at cramming. And that's not learning because so cramming, that is recruiting, then you don't tap it. And we are graduates, and they will be sitting and he is a graduate. How come this recruit from high school qualify? Because you know that they cram. And they regurgitate. So
1980 better the definition of murder at that time. I still cram.
Exactly. Yeah. So the guy is you so much cram lolu.
Yes.
They laugh even though you explain what is murder. Why young for them because you have not said murder is this and that. This is the way they know it. They mark you wrong.
Yeah.
And so Guinea from training school. Yeah. From training, so Guinea from
the whole school
exactly. So do they review you said when they modernize like AI amna and all those things GDP amna so then try you restructure so police literature be so that you muna equip swing recruits swing gene you muna serve intelligently and diligently. Why you also crying so gene school after exam you tend to forget most of it. So you also say training be anger help Pudla to become an intelligent person. Then let train just to pass. Then make the best recruit. And that's it. So Lolo Sufarombe, equipment comme li assessoir. Equipment si you guide am ga send GSC. The understanding GSC, they know how to use them, when to use them, and where to use them. Because I remember in 2001, Mansuma Platoon, we were at Mansa Congo. I don't know if you remember when APRC at UDP win class A, just at the filling station. So man as the officer on the ground, Munuma command Suma Platoon be filling tear gas when even we all don't have masks. Few much more faneka. So use of tear gas is not only the civilians, even new officers, we could have been affected.
Exactly.
So you know my Lutherman arrest on the spot. Motherland, I cannot arrest because Suma arrest on that don't escalate situation be. What I did was to observe who was committing what and then report to head office. Then this guy Ibrahim Kunekon operation commissioner of operation. What you got again?
Ibrahim
Kamara, yeah, Ibrahim Kamara. Suma waiwa one like this. Suma waiwa. So now why the police command we are not happy. I did not effect arrest on the ground. So why for me I feel policing is discretional. Sometimes the asset situation be. That said, what is the right action or step to take? Why you so whole a guy, demonstrations. They don't even do any, risk assessment or situational assessment at the scene before you react. Then you react for up. Then they escalate situation. Then they provoke. So they need to reevaluate the kind of training linear just send officers because officer training dafa ute from ordinary recruit training. Even management is as is you did police management course. You wrote something long man I've always tried to encourage police command the guy use la help you are willing to give lectures free of charge. Why luta guy yi ragal yo nga ñew fofu pour lifin len because dañ fi len na so ñewé da nga jël sen place. So it's not helping the police.
Exactly. And Suleiman, we even developed a manual with Assis leading it, Lai Lemon, former director drug squad. there was many of the officers there, Suleiman Ben Suare. It was a mixture of former IGPs and all these things. And this document was developed and sent from one minister to the other, from one security advisor to the other, from one IGP to the other. This was a thing we developed for months with all the former IGP, senior police officers, military officers together. Work on this from 2017, as is, I think, brought the document for everything, even at some point, narrow it down to break it down in specifics to start testing it in different places. Nothing. From the president down, this document was sent around. Nothing. They are not interested. They don't want to know. And so this is sad, because when people talk, you say people are talking. But when we bring our resources and said, we're helping you, you said, no, you don't want it. Or you
because
don't.
Linyo Banmoy succeeded and you credit be as is more innocent or Suleiman Ben Sudam Ben Suare Molifin. So lol line day by yo amulo di know how. Yangi am ko hamne amna di know how. Use ko use the information.
There. We don't even need anybody to even mention it. Just implement it and we have peace. But all these things doesn't work. So man, this is more problem of the resistance. And as an ordinary citizen, the non-policy by the
and I keep saying, man, honestly, if I have the will, this is current senior police officer say, ñoom like ko xamne sa retirement jot na duma renew sa contract. I'll face them all out.
Yes.
ñoom ñep ñu génn ñu dem.
That's
Understand?
the only
so then
solution.
face out, you get these young people you have that send them on courses you have management training, guy the responsibility. And then you reform the mindset of the police. Because as long as these old police officers nothing is going to change. Because your better way be like is that way or no other way.
I couldn't agree more with what Tom said. In the school environment, after COVID-19, when we started using more technology, a lot of the old teachers who have been there were refusing to transition to this system. It was a force. This is the thing. You buried and decide that you retire, and they did. This is why we're having a problem. We're now bringing in teachers who are qualified in South America, Jamaica, giving them these big salaries to come and teach our kids here, because you buried and you retire. They did not want to transition to this new technology because it's fear. But the problem is, these are the things that I'm going to read, Mustafa, as we probably end in the program. There's an impact of what is happening. And some of the things from this trauma training, it says behaviors that are interpreted as deliberate. Whatever the police do, even if they make a mistake, our conclusion is it's deliberate, they did it purposefully, they did not care what the law said, they did that. They can make mistakes. This is a very dangerous precedent. The police could possibly make a mistake and do harm, not knowing, and the people are still going to blame them that it is a deliberate act. Lolu moo tax PRO bi dafa war a moytu torop, dañu war a bàyyi seen xel. And then there's the other one. There's a lack of trust. There's an inability for us to connect with the police. That's one problem. And this is stuff talking about trauma. And then the families, everybody is traumatized. There's a history of what is going on in that country. So, in conclusion, instead of having a crisis functioning community and police and law enforcement, which is they respond, they de-escalate, they solve the problem, they amicably discuss things with the community and see how we can bring about peace for everybody. We are transitioning to an active decision making. That's what the police are doing. Something happened, the only solution is let's go, let's beat them up, let's arrest people, let's take them to jail. My question is, Mustafa, these police officers, at least now they have come up to give us the name of the police officers who killed Omar Baji. Why aren't these police officers sent to Mile 2? But we arrested our protesting young people and we send them to Mile 2. This is a murder case. Why aren't they taking them to Mile 2? This is the problem with Hassan Diallo and the Chief Justice. I despise the Chief Justice, Hassan Diallo. I'm saying this in strongest terms. He worked as a Chief Justice under Jara. He performed overseas, but he's not holding this government accountable. That is the saddest part, and his family and his history will go down as one person who had the opportunity to fix our problem. He hasn't done it. If the National Assembly is not going to do it, Asan Jallow should have the balls to say, the government cannot do this. We are going to hold them accountable. People are committing crimes, Mustafa. You take them to court, you find them culpable, but there's no, the police, the court is not saying, we're going to put an injunction on you. You either respond, or we do XYZ, or we charge you. If the government was being charged the fee on a daily basis for not responding to the court, we would have had a different outcome. But here is the one thing that I think should happen in the next government. The Attorney General's office cannot be part of one portfolio with the Ministry of Justice. It's politics versus profession. If we had an Attorney General whose job is not accountable or answerable to anybody, just like the Accountant General right now, where nobody can remove them from their job, we would have a different Gambia. We cannot have the Attorney General as the Minister of Justice. It's politics, and it cannot solve our problem. That's my conclusion.
Thank you very much, Saul. Kausuke Damfa, thank you for your comment. Thank you all for your comments and contributions. Our police are well trained. The issue is carefree care attitude and indiscipline within the system is our major problem. Thank you, Kausu. Thank you all for your comments. Right, Honorable Solomon Jeng, your final thoughts.
Well, my final thought, Moine, for me, I think Barrow should shake up the police force. All officers see Nifaneka. I know Aziz may not like this. Why then leen war a phase out and then war a restructure police command bi. Xale yi yoo fa nekka, you know, ñu jox leen the opportunity. Xam nga, guy lifin. You've got AIG Ba, he could be the next IGP. I'm over 20 years experience of policing. He's well educated, he's, you know, bilingual, he speaks French, English. So Young Sambujang Fati is good at planning. I'm the difference with IGP. Look at you, Dahako. I'm nañ ko ne waaw in dañ la demote or dañ la live in transfer somewhere else. Why wasting that knowledge? I don't think is good for the police. They need to reinstate him. And then Office of the Inspector General of Police should be autonomous. It should not be an office wherein the president can hire and fire at will. And President B, Warna Sekop, like I said, the police, Minister of Interior. If I'm him, definitely Sanyang Ki Sidi Ture, I'll send them home, to be quite honest, to set, you know, the precedent for one policy, you know.
If you were the president of the Republic of the Gambia, if you have the power, or as a Gambian, you're soldier, are you saying you're going to sack the Inspector General of Police and the Interior Minister? Is that what you're saying, Mr.
Yes, yes, I would have.
Why?
I would definitely have, because it's like Hale King Ray. Then the guy then gain and mislead the public, because you get one element of don't down mudano mude. Then guy you backtrack. So then I did lied. Two, it means they've not been doing their responsibility, because so you say you gain a different, they were out to cover themselves, to cover their mistakes. So Lolo gain, and I don't need to keep an officer Kohamne is lying to the public. Koko is not trustworthy, looseness trust already. So you get someone Kohamne is credible. Kohamne did not run affair without fear or favor. That's my point.
Thank you. I'm not solo. Mama Foreign Line say Gambia Police is operating as a racketeering it's the most corrupt institution in the Gambia. Just visit any prison, be a silent observer. You will notice a level of corruption that left your mouth open. Well, we've got a lot of people watching on the YouTube, but we're getting comments through the Facebook channel nonetheless. Mr. Aziz Bojang, your thoughts? You're on mute, Mr. Bojang.
Personally, my final thought, there should be a reimagining of what public safety means and what law enforcement means. That reimagining should also include retraining and reorientation of police officers, revisiting the police concept of operations and the police doctrine, with emphasis on use of discretion, but also with a view to de-escalation. Policy si situation bi nekk dafa metti torop. Whilst I recognize li ñoo def yëpp, those that are going down the ground situation bu metti lañ nekk. Fooguma ne jox nañ leen sufficient space pour ñu mun a use seen discretion. Li tax ma wax ko mooy soo seetee li xew ci keesi di puura protest bi ak reaction yi the police commander on the ground, officers in on the ground were reluctant to act. And that is normal because ñoo nekk on the ground, they can use discretion. But when the commander came, it's like you cannot use discretion. This is how I want it to be, and it must be, otherwise you'll be fired. So, policing, police officers themselves are given a lot of discretion to act or not act and subject yourself to public scrutiny. Lolu dañ ko wara emphasize. The other thing lima buga gis moy comme lima wa independent oversight, but also at the executive level of government, soon among someone who is so passionate about policing, police reform, democratic policing and bringing about a change, I think Lolu dina solve most of difficulties. Parce que just li Suleiman wax ne, okay, nañu remove the IGP and the Minister of Interior. Can they indi and what are they going to do differently? What have they done differently? It is not. So, Purman, we need someone at the level of the executive, either at the level of cabinet or even public service commission. Kohamne will always question police use of resources. Because when they scrutinize it, chila nyomuna gis gapsi. Training be more including reorientation. Fima gis agumman, lima gis, and I may be wrong, paski gejna Gambia torop. So I mademe Gambia sadumade dem headquarters because I have lost every enthusiasm to go there. Why man lima gis? Gisaguma, any senior police officer couldn't prepare to take leadership. Parce que boy prepare someone to take leadership, dan koy train. Yes, the bars and other solments on fee, yaga nan fi am nan training, ban training lang am. That is the question. The training must be aligned to the task. Most of these officers serve in the UN. While lang fa jangi. After being served UN, young specific training lang am. Bude tactical training la, lolu munta indi about a change. Because you need police governance, police administration. Chingai wara am specialized people. Nyomne janga nanko ham. Because the administrative knowledge, the governance, the management knowledge of policing moy muna result in a change. Nyun fee, the police chief fee, for instance, sulen johe order, da flyne, hamnane, order bi munna change anytime, parce que so deme on the ground, situations munna change. Waye ngalla jelal decision bo xamne eleg din ko muna defend. Lola lay wax. So ibaye lima la digal, jëlal loo xam ne bu ëllëgee boo taxawee ci kanami yoon nga mun koo defend. This is important and this is what is lacking. So until you am at the executive koo xam ne dina influence the change of mindset, police themselves dañ lajj. They have the best of intentions. Why, as far as ñoom they are concerned, fii lañ ci tollu. So soxla nañu dimbal, soxla nañu mel ni ñoom Suleiman, the two souls, to go there and help them. Xam nga reimagine and rethink law enforcement. Fii laa bugg a em.
I'm not solo linga sol emiva kumar Aziz. Omar Bulli Sano, that was my question to vulnerable Gambians is, should we eradicate the para unit totally from our security apparatus, or should it remain in existence? Andrew Mendy, Mr. Mendy is saying, we are not going to give any chance to them anymore, but they have to resign. So IGP, Inspector General, and the Minister of Interior need to resign, according to Mr. Henry Mendy. That's your thoughts as a Gambian. So not a problem at all. You know, I just don't want to leave these comments like that, because a lot of people are sending some message here. So thank you all for your comments. Okay, Nay, your final thoughts.
Yes, man, I think Aziz Saul said some of this, and then Aziz also, part of Aziz being about training, and I still insist on then more training. And as he said it, man never believe in training should be there at all level. Man never believe in the University of the Gambia there should be a department for those who want to study policing, because Lolo is easy. It's just incorporating it to the university. Interest police, they go and do the study policing and whatever they will call it. So mandama for very important, because mandama believe in the lack of education, lack of all these things also. Level, that cause so many of these things. And also the understanding what is the role of police, because for us, they may see those institutions, let's say the University of Gambia have a department for policing, they will understand, I say role. But at the end of the day, also the elephant in the house, which all of you have said, is accountability thing. Who is the police accountable to? Who is the police accountable to? Because a lot of time one has to understand that, because police, so President Baromune talk, they do it. City Njai, City Njai is nobody, just a deputy speaker. Muna talk, call police, and arrest and arrest. You just think of. So these are some of these things that they affects us. So then you want to depoliticize the police. And I think it was Saul also who talked about it, and both Saul's and the independence of the police. Maybe, I mean, we need to get parliament to change this thing so that mutane, because maybe it will take time to change police behavior. And then maybe they need to also have temperamental vetting to vet these people, their temperament, because man, I don't get it. The whole unnecessary beating. And even policies when they see demonstration, man, I get scared when I see them, because that's where a problem is, and we have seen it consistently. So follow the demonstrations, though when bad, when you have them there's always problem. And last time Gala them just said everything after la police and everything went so fine. But the moment they come, and then the anger the police have, for now man bobu tamit war nañ ko xol fan la anger bi de joge la tax ñi di mer, why they are always angry with us. So that needs to be looked at as well, because it's serious. Because later time you write this boy, it's more to do with anger. Reason just download na la benga sona hinga fit because a lot of these police are not fit. Then you down to direct collapse, or they are not physically fit. Down ga betoro nga japako. Then the anger of running and the tiredness of it, the exhaustion, you put everything on him. This is how they behave. This is the behavior of the police. So man often a year before I change police have na ñun nit lañ. Domi Gambian bi nit la comme ñom. Uniform lañ sol mu different, because those police officers say xam na suñ solu ton uniform tassé ki leneen lañu wax. So these are these things that we need to look at. Accountability of the police. the oversight body, because for now soul motor or the Human Rights Commission. In fact, then they take a policy saying they want human right came. It took me time to understand what human right la. Then I realized the Human Rights Commission la, they have been doing fantastic job. How do you incorporate them into this whole process in terms of oversight and accountability? Because it looks like policy recognized them. But see, you hear them talking about human rights, we spoke to human rights, bring them human rights. So they need to, and then another thing that we've been talking here all the time, community policing. And I think that's also probably Aziz's favorite thing about community policing. And I think Saul said a little bit about that name, assigning these people Findeka, because suñ dëkkee si area bi ñu xam leen ñu xamante ne ñu xam ne seen mag yi seen raka yi fi nekk seen yaay seen papa yi, maybe that makes difference as well in terms of addressing this problem. Because like the saddest narration bi Saul di wax man yëguma ko woon sax one of the police officers, yeah, papa am leen today this guy who died. Can you imagine? And Gambians, we are so connected. Danga laal ki next minute kooku wax na la something else. So dig. I remember during Jammeh time, with all my writing and attacking, somebody who was calling me a tribalist because I hate Jolas. And somebody I don't know from Adam went to check. And then Kogonoko did it. Ki munta hate Jola, ki mamam Jola la. Pepere ki mamam ki juri ayam Jola, pepere ki setati wula bajila. That's when this man was saying, but lenata muy against Jammeh. So this person didn't know me from Adam, just send me a message and look, this is what is happening. How more one Sunday, mom. So these are some of these things that we are so connected. And I agree. Community policing, get them there. Maybe that will also help to change the thing. So saying there, but it shouldn't be that. You don't have to know me. With all the racism in Norway, with all the discrimination, police protect my rights first. Unless I go out of that, they will protect my rights, even though the manual or black law or Africa law, they will first give me that protection. And then later other things can happen. Of course, there am racism here and there, but do they live in? So man, in a general said that lima buga moine, no policy by the mer. Nen by the new mere, nen by the new door, the new batch. They should just stop that, and there should be more training for the police. Man, I think, I don't know, everything boils down to better training and also the political will. Nabaro stay away from our police. Sidi Njai na stay away from our police. MPP na stay away from our police. Let them allow the police to do their job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sol jamre kulambej ngambej ko. Mr. Baji, any observation?
Well, I'm going to close with this. It is said again from the training that one single incident can affect the concentration and memory of all of us. We're now concentrated on this, but we're reflecting all the way back to 2017, what happened in Kalaji, in Faraba, right? So solutions, we open a police academy. It doesn't have to be under the University of the Gambia, but if we have it there, fine. Open a police academy and start teaching kids from high school, criminal justice, forensic science, human rights. There are classes that kids can learn from there. And the kids who are going to law school, they can be a good platform to start. But I'm gonna depart from my brother Aziz. Aziz, King Koli, I went to his office because he was my classmate, both in Brikama Secondary School and Muslim High. So he was jokingly telling me that he wants to retire. I don't think he wants to retire. But King Koli's assistant, I don't know, I forgot his name. We went into his office, we sat down and we talked to the guy. That guy could be the new IGP of police. I know that because I talked to him, I can pick up body language. Not only was he able to articulate himself well when we asked him questions, because my younger brother's vehicle got in an accident up country and he was giving us ideas. We do have a lot of good people who could be the next IGP, my brother. I believe that there are good people that could be, but you know this stuff more than I do. So I'm just going to take cue by saying, cautionarily, there are people who could be the next Inspector General of Police. Now, when it comes to administration, how can these people handle and manage pressure? I don't know, but I think we have good people. So, Mustafa, I'm going to close with this. I went to illicit training because now Hamga Trump is telling us we don't have to do this DEI. So the schools are coming up with different ways of handling kids who are from different demographics. Because we have to teach the kids. And the director of our department who's handling CREP, it is just the acronym name for it, which is talking about the critically learning system that we're using for pedagogy of people who have different backgrounds, right? He said things that really manifested in my head. Ako, janding manika kong meola usla. Ako janding slavery became illegal in the United States. It was legal. You translate it. Anybody who was against slavery was committing a crime. Number one. Before the women folk had the right to vote, right, which was the suffrage time, the women had no right to vote. And if you force a woman or women participates in election, it was a crime. What do we have now? And then he said the other things that actually made more sense. Segregation was legal at the time, that black people and white people cannot be in the same classroom. That was then. What do we have now? All of these things are legal. What the police is doing today is going to become a problem for them when the government changes. And I think the security sector reform is what we need to bring about the change and hold people accountable. Then we make all of these activities illegal once and for all, and the police will start to function, and we will have a safer, much more prosperous Gambia. Thank you.
On behalf of all the team here, Civic Education team, this is where we draw the curtain for tonight edition of Skype or Civic Education Program. Alaji So is saying hello to you. I don't know if you know him. He said King Collie was our classmate. I can't remember him.
You know Alaji So, don't you?
Yes. Mustafa Alaji was in the struggle.
Greetings,
was my
Alaji.
classmate. Yes,
All right,
good
great
close
stuff.
friend of mine.
And
Thank
former
you.
classmates as well. Yes.
Great stuff. Yeah. All right, then. This is where we draw the curtain for tonight's edition of Skype our Civic Education Program that comes your way weekly on this platform at 1700 UK time on a weekly basis. On behalf of all the team, Nejo Bate, Sol Baji, Aziz Bojang, Suleiman Jang, Bamba Kademo, and Alaji Sede Baro. Till we come your way, same place, same time, Skype our. Good evening.
Bye, guys.
Bye now. Yo, group B Madana Janne for Dimas Sibinala Inshallah Cameron Skype or radio and TV services on Albani Malo Mustafa Jami member program or Kuna for Sibinala Inshallah on the back.